How is it going, everybody? This is SC2 Pred once again, doing another StarCraft cast. I'm going to try to get some League of Legends stuff up here soon, but I wanted to get a couple more StarCraft videos up, and so we're just going to go ahead and do that. The last one I did was Zerg versus something, I don't remember. So, to be fair, I'm going to not put Zerg in this one, and what we are going to have is actually a Terran versus a Protoss. And our two players are Jimpo, the purple Terran, versus AdelScott, our orange Protoss, and this is on Zelnaga Caverns. So, Protoss versus Terran is a pretty fun match for both sides. I like to see the variations and stuff that goes on. And it's also nice to not be Zerg and not have to worry about, 79 racks, Reaper Rush, or whatever. So we're just basically going to be watching some nice high-level Protoss versus Terran, or Terran versus Protoss. I don't know. It really doesn't matter. So either way, AdelScott getting his pylon on 9 just in time for the next SCV, and we have Jimpo building a close supply depot, or as close to his command center. He's opting not to wall off, which you're starting to see a lot of Terran do. It almost seemed like in Brood War it was almost mandatory. A Terran had to wall off or they were going to get eaten. But in StarCraft 2, that is no longer required. So AdelScott just chrono boosting some probes. He's getting his gateway on 12, and he's going to go ahead and send the SCV to scout. One thing that's kind of cool, actually, you're going to see, so he scouts back here to make sure there was no early SCV. And if we follow this path all the way up here, he's checking back here again. Kind of worried about proxy, which is kind of funny because I recently cast a replay where this proxy happened. So sure enough, he makes his rounds. There's nothing behind the bush. Just trying to make sure that Jimpo is playing straight up, not doing anything goofy, which of course he is. And actually, you just missed it, or I just missed it, but Jimpo doing the same thing. Just check and make sure that there is no proxy gate coming, because we want to make sure that this is a nice, good, clean game, no hitting below the belt, as it were. Either way, barracks going up, refinery done, and not a whole lot. The next pylon, are we going to see Cybernetics Core here in a second? We are going to see Cybernetics Core. So, both sides doing pretty much equivalent builds as far as their respective race goes, and Jimpo going ahead and getting his orbital command. Mules are pretty key for Terran, and he also opted to get the one Marine before he got the tech lab. Now, did Adel see the tech lab? I'm assuming, yes, he did see the tech lab getting built, which I guess I could have been using the hotkeys, but I don't feel like it. And Jimpo building a supply depot up top just to make sure that there is no way that there's a pylon up here. The pylon's not going to sneak around up here at all. And Adel taking over the watchtower, trying to keep control of the center of the map. One thing that you hear a lot of people say, it's extremely important in all RTSs, is map awareness, map awareness, map awareness. And I say this a lot, especially in League of Legends videos. Make sure that you are completely aware of what's going on. So AdelScott getting his next Vespian gas, and this little probe out here is going to make a robo facility. So Gateway Core Robo. Probably going to see some Immortal, maybe some Colossus, depending on what Jimpo throws out, which he is currently throwing out a single Marine, and his big Marauder bodyguard is going out, and he is also not getting a factory like I thought he was for some reason, and basically just going to be going out here for a little bit of push, a Marine Marauder and SCV. Good stuff. Adel has his Stalker out, and a Zealot is on the way. The Stalker is going to try to keep the Marine Marauder SCV combo held back a little bit, although the holding back's not going to happen so much. But the Zealot comes out, scares them all away. Going to see if he can get this kill of the SCV. The SCV goes down. Doesn't look like the Marauder and Marine are going to do much damage, so currently, I guess, Adel is up 1 SCV. We have the Observer coming out, and down on this end, we do have the wait, no, I'm sorry, I lied. It was a command center, then a factory, so kind of a longer distance on these maps. Having to walk all the way down here. So he's able to get the command center pretty quick, which I guess, I don't know, I didn't actually see when he did it, so may not have been super fast, but getting another barracks and just training the Marine Marauder. And then on Adel's side, we have another gateways going down with Warp Gate just about finishing. And once it is done, I assume that, yes, they were queued to get both of the Warp Gates out. Nothing coming out of here yet. We have a Stalker, Sentry, and Zealot going, but the Observer coming down just to see exactly what it is he's up against, to make sure he's not, building Colossus to counter Viking or something like that. But either way, the factory is just finished. The next orbital command is coming, and this is something I talked about before, that this is actually, it's pretty common to build your orbital command before you send out the command center. makes it a little bit safer. And you can see the bunker going up. Bunkers are pretty good in this game since they can be salvaged and you can get all your minerals back. So it's not really like they're a huge money sink. They just tie it up for a little bit. The SV coming out, just make sure there's no funny business going on. And right now, AdelScott, seeing that there's another command center, going to be an expansion coming, so he opts to grab his expansion as well. And just still warping out sentries, Stalker, a couple of sentries and a couple of zealots off these 2 gates. Building a robo base, so it looks like we are going to see some Colossus, because he went down here and sees a pretty good amount of, or pretty heavy focus on bio right now. Nothing crazy going on, although there is a siege tank being made. Where is this? The observer is just hanging out up here. And he's going to be building a bunker down here. It looks like, oh, you can see he actually just salvaged this bunker because now, like I said, he got his money back and he can build this bunker down here. Kind of make sure that there's some protection for this command center, especially since there's this route of attack, this route of attack, this route, and this route. But you can see actually he's going to be building a supply depot here, and he has a SCV up here scouting, or ready to scout over here whenever the time is appropriate. So transferring some probes over, got to get that expansion up as quick as you can. And an Immortal is coming out, but the Robo Bay is done. He is not researching the range yet. But you can see, like I said, down here, Jimpo building his supply depot on the other side of the bushes, just to make sure, once again, he gets a little bit of an early spotting for whenever there is, in case there's an attack force coming around this way. But AdelScott not doing any attacking of the sort at the moment, just making some probes and trying to macro a little bit. Also set the rally point for this command center down here, because he has got, I'm going to assume it's around 16 to 17. He's got 16 probes up here, so he can just flood this one down here a little bit quicker. The SV coming to scout, but you can see he built a pylon over here for the same reason that there was a supply depot over here. And it looks like Jimpo's just going to make a nice little arc of supply depots. He wants to make sure this entire lane's covered. I guess because you could, in theory, come down here, or you could come up and around here. I'm not really sure. But the Stalkers are moving out. Stalkers are a pretty quick unit, so it makes them pretty good for scouting purposes and stuff like that. Just make sure. And there's that Colossus I missed. You know what, I'm going to open up the production tab, and that way we can watch it. I like what they did with the production tab, now that it actually shows production. We have Stimpack. Ooh, it looks like they changed the icon for Stimpack. I did not even notice that. Yeah, so they changed the icon for Stimpack. I was completely unaware until this game. A couple more bunkers being made just to make sure that that front is protected, because Marines are a little bit, well, Marines, this whole bio setup is a little squishy. Although he's got plenty of tanks backing him up. The observer's sitting here, so he can kind of see whenever he's getting ready to move out. He also controls both Selnaga watchtowers. So I'd say right now AdelScott's in a pretty good position as far as map awareness goes. And Jimpo just making his supply depots all over the place. He is trying to be completely aware of this particular attack lane, because most of his defenses are focused up front, so he'd need to be able to shift over fairly quickly. And it looks like AdelScott doing the exact same thing, only on the other attack lane with the pylons. The other kind of benefit that this gives him actually is it gives him more places to warp in units. You can see the scan going off, so he does see the Colossus, and he's still making the Colossus an Immortal, so he can see it. He actually has got 2 robos now. I didn't even notice that, and I probably should look. He is researching the Thermal Lance, and it looks like Jimpo is opting to get a Raven and some medevacs to keep his one second. Sorry about that. To keep his bio ball alive. Just trying to make sure he's ready. The Raven going, the Marine sniped the observer, and deciding to pull back at that point. But there are pylons being spread out all over the place. And again, if we go, you can see he's got really good awareness. I mean, there's a very slight route that if he had dropships, he could get through. But by and large, he's got pretty good awareness. Jimpo also doing pretty well as far as the attack lanes go. He's got pretty much everything covered on the attack lanes. And they just destroyed this rock. It looks like he is going to go ahead and take his gold expansion whenever he can. Not sure if he's going to do it anytime super soon, but taking out the rocks regardless, just to make sure that there is room to take the gold expansion when needed. And other than that, just building a few more warp gates, or gateways turning into warp gates, also getting the research upgrade. And on Jimpo's side, just more marauders, some tanks, and some medevacs. And basically he's just happy to sit here and let this build up, knowing that Adel can't do a whole lot as far as attacking goes because there's too many siege tanks here. But it looks like he's going to try to do a drop of some sort. I'm not sure where he's going with this, but AdelScott is moving out. He is trying to close off the front a little bit, but these dropships are going to be able to circle around. They might be